どうする一歩ずれて私も混ぜて
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Danny here. Today I'm talking to you about Keijo. So, this manga actually ended a long time ago, right? This ran from July 2013 to April 2017 over in Shonen Sunday. You should know that's a pretty big magazine. A lot of big mangas in here. You have Magi, Komi-san, which I'll be talking about soon. History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi, one of my favorite mangas. Inuyasha, one of my favorite mangas. Detective Conan. You know, a lot of heavy hitters here. Ranma 1/2 as well. So, this ended in 2017, right? But I just finished reading it because it's not out here in the West, right? There's no English volumes, and the scanlations were severely lacking in support, and the final chapter, 178, just came out. So that's why this took so long to really finish up. And still sad to say that it's over. And I did some more research because initially I think I mentioned this on the main episodes like a long time ago when I was really into Keijo. But it was when the anime came out and then, you know, we heard, oh, Keijo's ending. And then there was that post from our mangaka who is Daichi Soriyomi. He's only really worked on one other manga. Besides this one. But anyways, he said that he apologizes that his work wasn't good enough for an anime audience. And that's really sad to hear. And he's like, I will try to do better next time. And it's like, oh wait, it's ending? And so a lot of people thought, including me, that the manga was canceled due to the lack of support that the anime got, that the anime did so poorly. And there were reports of the anime sales for home release was very low, like less than 1,000 units sold, right? And this is all just in Japan. And he actually came out in 2017 when the manga was ending that he's here to clear up some of that stuff. For when he talked to the animation company, they said, oh no, we sold a lot more units than 700. I don't know where they're getting these numbers. And that he already got the news to end the series before the anime did not do the best, right? Which is really, really sad to say, man. After reading and finishing up Keijo here, it's just sad to see it go. I still had a very fun time. Last time I talked about this was my main point. It's hilarious, very entertaining, ridiculously good when it comes to what we're getting into for Keijo, right? So again, Keijo is aka Hip Whip Girl. It's this sport that's very popular in Japan in this setting, to where it's a bunch of women in swimsuits go out in like these floating platforms in a pool, and there they battle, but they can only use their breasts and their butts to attack. They can't use anything else, and they have to make sure that they don't reveal too much or they'll get disqualified as well, and that also plays into a factor. So already it's like, one, it's a sports manga, two, very ecchi stuff going on, and by combining those together, oh my gosh, is this amazing. Like I've said before, which was a long time ago. Last time I talked about this was 2016. Can't believe it's been that long since I started this series. It's one of the earliest manga reviews that I did, as you could tell by the title here. But, you know, really getting into it, again, it is more than ecchi, like I said. You kind of just move past it, right? Because it's not focusing on that, right? It's not like Shokugeki, to where we're getting clear shots of just some ass and tits just all up in your face. It's just about the ridiculousness. Like sports manga anime wise, they put that meter to the max when they were working on Keijo. Oh my goodness. Like just the name of the attacks, how they were attacking. It's so anime. It is great. And, you know, there are some faults when it comes to it. You know, the meaningful arcs, like I said last time, very important parts of the stories just didn't last long. Too many characters to try to keep up with, you know. I know it is a sports manga, but the fact that they implemented an academy for Keijo added even more characters And there were times where you're like, well, there's some interesting characters, but then we have to get into the backstories during these matches, and it's just too much for what we really should be doing here, right? And it's interesting to say it's too much, right? Because one, it is a sports manga, but there's not really teams. Every time they go out there, there's like a max of 8 to 12 people, and it could still feel too much sometimes with what's going on. And reading the final arc here, where it's just, what you can expect. There's a giant tournament where they have to fight the Goketsu, right? Which is the 5 heavenly asses, right? Which, come on, it's just, it's amazing in that aspect, right? But yeah, we get into all these matches, and it's just like, we have to see our main characters, right? Which, I mean, one of our main characters is Nozomi. She's the main character. And then we have Sayaka, who's wasn't even participating in the final one. You have Kazane, you have Non. You have a lot of characters here who do a lot of interesting things. And that's what I think I like the most about Keijo, is that the diversity of body types, of the way they use their attacks, is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's very entertaining. And I think by them having it to be, just use your breast and hip and your butts, that gives it a lot of creativity to go in. As far as the attack names, which, hence again, the ridiculous comes from. And it gets so super anime. They meet one of the Goketsus, and she has a sword hilt just hanging off her ass, and it's just this is to seal my power, And it's just one girl's using her boobs to generate wind to create mist on the battlefield so we couldn't see. One of them can charge electricity using their swimsuit, and it's just, you don't really see this in a lot of manga, especially when it comes to sports mangas. You really can't do much, right? Look at Kuroko no Basket. It was all based on their abilities and not on what they can do on the court, right? And then Slam Dunk, well, it's more just grounded. And then you have iShield 21, to where, again, it's all about your athletics, about you being athletic. And here, it's not really about that. I mean, for Nozomi, it is to a point to where she's just a natural at doing these moves effortlessly, minimal training, right? But it's some of these characters to where it's their height, their cup size, their hip weight, their hip measurements, that all implements them into doing a lot of wild stuff. And I think that is just really good. As you could tell, I'm a really big fan of this series, and it just really sucks to see it end, because not only does it end in the most typical way with having, the final arc be this tournament, but it just feels so rushed at the same time. And then the last chapter is this big old thing, so it's the next phase of the tournament, and then it's here's all the favorites basically in this tournament. And yeah, we just ended with a flash forward to our two main characters, I guess already past their prime. I don't know if it wasn't clear if they were still playing Keijo or not, because it is a short-lived sport, I guess. We don't see a lot of people play it past their prime or whatever. But other than that, man, I still highly recommend you check out Keijo. It's just a real shame it got canceled and that it's not translated out here for the West. But I did see that Crunchyroll also gave the anime a dub. And I'm probably just going to grab the Blu-rays up just to have it, because, this is something you want on your shelf. It's such a good time. Art-wise, I thought it was fine. I didn't know this, but reading into this interview that Daichi talked about with the whole cancellation stuff, it sounded like Shonen Sunday was not the biggest fans of this series. For one, it was being pushed to the back of the magazine when the anime was out. That's something you don't do when you try to popularize your series based off the anime. It's something that shouldn't happen, but he was pushed to the back. He kept asking his editors for an assistant for a year and a half. It was just him and one other person. And, if you know about a mangaka's life, it is very taxing on the body, and the less assistance you have, the more that's really going to hit you. So that's also really unfortunate to hear, because the editors, as you guys know, it's backgrounds, shading, effects. There's so much to throw in on a weekly series that is Keijo. that to hear that there was, shorthanded on the staff also just really hurts to see it get canceled, because like, oh, maybe then it could have been, excuse me, that with better support on there, maybe it could have went somewhere. Maybe it could have kept going strong. Who knows? I just hope that we could have seen more of this series, because I don't think we even got majority of the Goketsus in action. I think we just got the main 3 or 4. There were certain characters we didn't see fight, which sucks, because then they brought in these great designs, and just not seeing them come out and do their uniqueness was unfortunate. That's the biggest part, is that we didn't get more of the series. So I just wanted to come back and talk about Keijo again, just because I finally finished it and thought I'd just put more of my thoughts out there for this series. And again, highly recommend. So go check it out. Definitely worth the read. One thing I do know about the anime, from what I heard, is that the beginning is pretty rough, right? It skips an arc, last I heard, and it starts at a weird point in the storyline, which doesn't kind of make sense, because you need stuff that they skipped as build-up, so I don't understand why they did that. And it's only 12 episodes for the anime. I'm probably going to check it out just to see what's going on. Like I said, it's on Crunchyroll, so hopefully it's still there. And sadly, that is all I have to say today about Keijo. I'm really hoping that, our boy here can really do something else in the manga world. Again, he only did one other thing that I haven't heard of before. So, I don't know. I hope we get something more like Keijo, more originality, more ridiculousness, hilariousness. I mean, look, I'll just pull up real quick some of these quotes towards the end of the series here. And one of them is just, if I could find it right here. Oh, where is it? Yeah, here we go. So it starts off with one of the Goketsus who can generate electricity using her breast, as it says right here. And then it says, "It's been a long time since I used my breast electricity. I try not to often use it because it burns my nipples." Like, it's just so ridiculous. And the other main character, Sayaka, she's like, she came from a judo background, and she implements that in this game, right? By catching the other participants' swimsuits with her nipples and doing judo throws with them, right? It's ridiculous. And in the last chapter, when she went back into the ring, they told her, or she was telling Nozomi that, oh yeah, my mom made this custom swimsuit, so that way it's easier to grab when I do my judo throws. It's like, huh? What? That's exactly what Keijo is, man. And again, it's sad to see it be canceled, sad to see it end. And I really, really hope we get something more like this. I mean, etchiness aside, like, if we could get something that's ridiculous with the same originality, it'd be amazing. Excuse me. So again, yep, that's all I have to say today, guys, for Keijo. Again, just go check it out. It's a really fun time. And as always, you can email us at unversedpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I would love to hear your opinions about Keijo. And of course, I will talk about it on the next episode. And then you could give us a follow at Unversed Podcast anywhere you go. That way you could see when the next episode drops. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next episode.